Hello everyone, welcome to Concept X. So today in this lecture we are going to discuss about the different types of neurons. We can classify the neurons in two different types. Number one is structural classification and another one is functional classification. But prime focus of this video that we are going to discuss only about the structural classification. So structurally a neuron could be classified in varieties of types. So number one is multipolar neuron. Number two is bipolar neuron, and number three is pseudounipolar neurons. Another one more types is there which is called unipolar neurons. So unipolar and pseudounipolar, they are almost same, so that's why we are going to discuss both of them combinedly only in one category. So what is multipolar neurons? Multipolar neurons, why it's called multipole, because the cyton or the cell bodies, I think you already know what is the basic structure of neuron. So this is the overall basic structure. These cell bodies will be there, lots of dendritic extensions will be there, one axons will be there, and axon terminals will be there. This is the axon terminal. So signal is coming from this direction. So through this direction, signals will come and it will go towards the subsequent neuron. So if it is a axon terminals, the next dendrite will be start from here. So this is the next dendrite. So neurotransmitter will be released from here to here, from axon terminals to next dendrite. So these dendritic extension, they have also received the neurotransmitter is released from the previous axon terminals. So from that axon terminals, these dendritic extension have received those neurotransmitter and the signal is passed through subsequently. So this is the another thing, how the nerve impulse passed through. But our focus is the classification of neurons. So structural classification will be three different types: multipolar, bipolar, and pseudo-unipolar. So in multipolar, we have multiple extensions attached with the cyton. Cyton is nothing but the cell body. So it is our cell body, neuronal cell body. So lots of dendrites, dendritic extension will be there. So they individually come in contact with the cell bodies. As you can see, this is the one dendrite, it's coming in contact with this one, another, this is another, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So lots of dendrites are directly come in contact with the cyton or cell bodies, and one axons will be there. So one axons and lots of dendrites. So that's why multiple polar attachment. So multiple attachments are there with the cell bodies. That's why it's called multipolar neuron. Mean multiple poles are there. One axons will be definitely there, and lots of dendrites will be there. So that's why I call multipolar neurons. So what is the location of those multipolar neurons? The basic location of this kind of multipolar neurons is the brain and spinal cord. So mostly these type of neurons are found in case of brain and spinal cord. Not all neurons those are found in brain and spinal cord, they are bipolar. Not all, but most of them are multipolar neurons. Why it's not all? Because few of bipolar neurons are also present in the olfactory area of brains. So olfactory area is definitely part of the central nervous system, and central nervous system is comprises of brain and spinal cord. So definitely this bipolar neurons also present in the brain. So most of the neurons are, in case of brain and spinal cord, they are multipolar neuron, but few of them are also in bipolar neurons. So what is bipolar neurons? As you can see with this cell body, so this is also a cell body. So with this cell body, two attachment there. This is another one attachment and this is another attachment. So two attachment are there with the cyton. So though this is the dendritic extension, so lots of dendritic extension combinedly come and they make one single attachment with the cyton or cell bodies. So here you see lots of dendrites individually coming in contact with the cyton, but here you see lots of dendrites are coming and they make only one extension or one single dendritic extension, and then they fused with the cyton. So we are not going to consider as only different types of neurons. We are going to discuss. We're going to call it as only one single extension. So as here you can see lots of dendritic extension will be there, but here only one single dendritic extension will be there, but this single dendritic extension is formed with the combination of different types of dendrites. So lots of dendrites, they fused and then it come and in contact make a connection with the cyton. Then next axons will be there. These axons is definitely the same types of axons. Same myelin sheet will be there, just like the multipolar neuron. So the axons and axons, these are same, but here different types of dendrites directly come in contact with the cyton, but here different types of dendrites make only one dendritic extension, then it fuse with the our cyton. So that's why we'll only going to consider as a only one dendrite. May have its different extension, but when the moment it come in contact with the cyton, it is only one extension. So that's why we're not going to consider as a different types of neurons. Only one dendritic extension will be considered and one axons will be there. So only two types of extensions are there, one in dendrite and one in axon. That's why it's called bipolar. Bipolar, and bi means two. So what is the location of these types of bipolar neurons? They're mostly found in case of retina, inner ear, and olfactory area of brain. This is 1, 2, 3. So this is retina, inner ear, and olfactory area of brain. This is the three prime location of these kind of bipolar neurons. So next, another one, that is your pseudounipolar neuron. So what is pseudounipolar neuron? It is mostly found. So pseudounipolar means first we have to know what is the unipolar neuron. So unipolar neuron, they are mostly found in case of infants, or we can say in case of fetus, embryonic development. But when the fetus grow day by day, then these types of pseudounipolar neurons forms. So what is the pseudounipolar neurons? So these pseudounipolar neurons are mostly, they are found for some kind of sensory neurons. They are mostly sensory neurons, or sensory neurons are, their main function is to carry the signals from the body to the brain, from the periphery to brain. So they will basically receive the signals through the dendrites. So these are the dendrites. So just like you just think that this is the dendrite, and from this direction signal is coming. Then this is our cell cyton, or this is the cell body, and then the signals will go. So signals is coming through this direction, so it will go and then it will go towards the axons. So this is the dendritic extensions. So these dendritic extension is nothing but that one dendrite, in between them we have cell bodies, but now the cell bodies is out of the main stem. Here the cell body is dendrite, then cyton, then axons. There is no direct connection in between dendritic extension and axon filaments or axons. But here dendritic extension and axons, they got diffused and they make a direct connection signaling. So signal connections from dendrite to axons, to axon terminals. So when signal receives, they mostly found through this direction, and then the signals will directly go towards the axons. So here we are not going to discuss as it is a separate dendritic extension. We are going to consider as only one axons which have dendrites. So here we can say this is the dendritic extension, this is the axons. Here also lots of dendrites and one axons, but here we are not going to consider that, it's separately. Here only one axons will be there, and that axons also contains some kind of dendritic extension. So one cell bodies, one axon terminals will be definitely be there, but axons which contains dendrites. So there is no separate dendrites will be there. So these axons also contain a dendrites. So because why are not going to consider? Because in the embryonic development, during the developmental process, the dendrite axons infused and it make only single process. So as it is a single process, we cannot separate out that which this is the dendrite and this is the axon. It is only one axon. So in case of pseudounipolar neurons, we have one axon, one cell body and some dendritic extensions, but it is not a separate dendrite. Only one axons will be there, but that axon also contain dendritic extension. This is as simple it is. So here this kind of pseudounipolar neuron is found for carrying or carry out or bringing some kind of sensory signals from the periphery towards the central nervous system. And when we're going to discuss about the refractory or the refractory arc in case of sectioning of spinal cord and anatomy of spinal cord, then we'll come to know the dorsal root ganglia is also developed with the accumulation of these kind of cell bodies in the periphery. So this is the pseudounipolar neuron. So what is their main function? So the pseudounipolar neuron, their main function is it acts as a sensory receptors that detect a sensory stimulus such as touch, or we can say pressure or pain. So these pseudounipolar neurons act like a sensory receptor, or they help in case of sensory signal transduction. So we have two types of neurons, sensory neurons and motor neurons. So these kind of pseudounipolar neurons also act like a sensory neurons, which carry the signals. What kind of signals are like touch, pressure, pain. So if someone or you have touched something, suppose that signal will go towards our brain from the periphery towards the brain with the help of this kind of pseudounipolar neurons. So these is the one terminal. So the pain or touch, these signals will coming through this direction and it will go towards the periphery, towards the brain with this route. So signal is coming from here and it will go along with this way towards the brain. So I hope you have got the concept, what is the different roles and location of these types of structural classification of neuron. If you have liked this video, kindly share with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.